And we're back with some more awesomeness. Hello guys, welcome, or if you've already seen my channel before, welcome back. I am the Philadelphia Whovian, and for this video, we're talking about that beautiful thing. A thing I absolutely love. Star Trek, the original series. Yes, and I even will show you my beautiful copy of it. Yes, Star Trek, the original series, Season 1. And I'm going to be continuing with my Star Trek reviews. My previous review was on The Man Trap. Now it's going to be on the second episode in the set. Not the second episode that aired, but the second episode that was in the set. Not to confuse it. So, the second episode in the set is called Charlie X. Yes, this video is going to be on Charlie X. And this episode has a special place in my heart because this is the first ever episode story of the original Star Trek I ever saw. Yes. Okay, I was raised on Star Trek The Next Generation. That was my childhood. My mom loved Star Trek. My dad loved Star Trek as well. Next Generation was their thing. However, I had never seen the original series for so long. Then one day, my mother on TV found out that there were a couple episodes of the original series that was airing. And she's like, come on in and watch it. And I sat down and watched it, and it was Charlie X. The first thing I was amazed by was just the look of it. I looked at it, it just felt so cool. I can't explain it, but the original Star Trek the original Star Trek series, there's something about it that just appeals to a nostalgia that you never thought you had inside of you, but it was there all along. In Star Trek, the original series hits all those beats. You never knew you wanted the original Star Trek. You never knew if, it was something that would appeal to you until you see it and you find out all the things of classic TV that you always loved and thought were beautiful. From the storytelling, to the production, to the direction, to the lighting, was exactly what you wanted the entire time. And that's what Charlie X was for me. Now, Charlie X, this has a story with, of course, the original crew of Star Trek, the original series, but also it has guest stars. Robert Walker, I believe, is the actor they got to play Charlie X. Talk about incredible casting. He was perfect as Charlie X, if I got his name right. He was absolutely perfect, because Charlie is a character who's 17 years old, and the actor they got looked the age, but also he just capture the nuances of that age, the true madness, the confusion, the agony, and the heartache that is like being 17 years old again. And they got an actor who could capture it. You felt bad for him. You sympathized and empathized with him. You were frightened of him. You were horrified of him. He was someone you never wanted to be near, but he was hypnotizing to watch. And I believe, in case I'm wrong, the teleplay was written by D.C. Fontana. However, the story itself was created by, and of course the episode was produced by, Gene Roddenberry. Now, what's the plot of Charlie X? Charlie X takes place in Star Trek The Enterprise, where they're getting a new addition on board, Charlie. Charlie was rescued from a planet where he was marooned there at 3 years old. The entire rest of the crew that he was with died. He was literally alone there, on a planet, at 3 years old. Hold on, I'm about to start coughing, because I'm sick right now. That's going to happen a couple more times during this video. Like right now. Hold on. Okay, we got that out of the way. I feel like I'm always in a perpetual state of sickness in some way. Okay, sorry. And we're back again. And scene 2. Take 2. Alright, so, with Charlie X. So, Charlie was rescued from this planet and by a probe, which is a small ship that's like manned by only 28 people, and they cross paths with the Star Trek Enterprise, and they make arrangements for Charlie to be transferred to the Enterprise. At first, it's assumed it's just this because A, the Enterprise is going in the same direction as Charlie's home planet. Yes. But also, Enterprise is a much bigger ship that's good for Charlie to be on and to integrate himself back into culture again that he's not been used to. That's the on the surface intention. However, in truth, it's also because Charlie has powers. Charlie is both telekinetic, slightly pretty much telekinetic, as well as kind of telepathic. He can control objects with his mind, but he also can manipulate people's thoughts sometimes to make them think what he wants them to think. He can control what they say, and he is, in all essentials, very, very dangerous. So he probably was the one that manipulated them, the people in the probe, to have him transferred onto the Enterprise on a bigger ship where that was going in the direction of the planet, his home planet. There's that. While he's on board, he is so much removed from all of humanity. For so long, he did not even know a girl until she walked up to him and he recognized it. The Yeoman. So Captain Kirk's Yeoman. She walks in and Charlie says, "Is this a girl?" He has never fully seen a girl before. That's how much he's been removed from he's been marooned and isolated from his own people. This right there shows you the true horrible state he's in. This is a 17-year-old boy, and he sees a woman for the first time, and of course he latches onto her emotionally. And all the emotions that happen as a 17-year-old boy, the adrenaline, the hormones, they speed up. Hold on, coughing again. And take 3. They speed up, and he latches onto her emotionally, romantically, very quickly, and he becomes that of a stalker and a creeper. Again, all the extreme emotions you feel as a teenager, he begins to feel. And while he's on the ship, we see, of course, he goes into situations where attention gets taken from him, and he reacts the way of a spoiled brat. He wants the attention directed back onto him. He wants the Yeoman to reciprocate the love he feels for her. He wants to be taken seriously. He wants to be loved by everyone. He wants control over everyone. He does not want to feel humiliation. And if he is humiliated and someone laughs at him, he lashes out. All the extreme reactions you can get as a teenager, you have in Charlie X. But the problem is, he has all these powers. So mix all of the insecurities, animosities, anxieties, and agonies that you had as a teenager, and mix that, compile that with having ultimate power. And you get ultimate chaos. And he latches onto Captain Kirk as a father figure very quickly. When we see Bones, sorry, coughing again. Take 5. Or take 4, whatever we're on right now. We see Captain Kirk having to accept the reality that Charlie does look at him as almost like a father figure, a role model. And he has the most power over Charlie for the longest time until Charlie gets so out of control that he does take control of the ship and does take over, Captain Kirk's authority. But at the end of the day, Captain Kirk for the longest time was the main person, the only person who could kind of get through to him. And we see Captain Kirk be a man who does not have any children. He is not married. He is a captain on a starship, and he gets thrust into the role of being a father figure to this strange new person on board and trying to adapt to the situation until it all ends up in fiasco. So there's that as well. And the pain and the act of the end is that it turns out Charlie was given these powers by the Thracians, or the Thracians, who were Commander Spock, or Lieutenant Spock. He even predicted, he said, there's no way that Charlie, a 3-year-old, could have survived on that planet by himself. He had to have had help in some way. And he predicted that the Thracians, or Thessians, sorry, I don't remember their name fully, the Thessians, they were known as being a myth or a legend, but no one fully knew if they existed. And Spock, he theorized they probably existed and they could have helped Charlie, which we find out at the end they were. Because the Thessian ship catches up with the Starship Enterprise, and they pretty much hail the Enterprise, and they say, we're sorry that Charlie escaped, we are coming to get him back, we are sorry that for all the destruction, the damage he's done, we're going to take him away. And Charlie is emotional, pleading. He says, hey, please, don't let them take me. They, sorry, take 5 or 6. They're not corporeal. He's like, I can't even feel them. I want to stay. And despite all the the problems he's done, Captain Kirk says, even despite this all, he says to the Thessians, Charlie should be with his own kind. Is there some way he can learn to not use his power? But if that's the say it's a part of his upbringing and how he stayed alive, he will always use his powers. This is a no-win situation. And thus, as a result, Charlie has to go. And the end where he just says, I'm sorry to all of them. And he's like, I want to stay. And then he gets beamed out of the Enterprise. And there's a bleak feeling at the end of it all. It's heartbreaking in some ways because it's like there's nothing they could have done. He had to be taken away again. And I absolutely love this episode because, again, it just captures the true confused state of what it is to be a teenager. To be hurt internally all the time and constantly hurting. And have all these intense emotions. You lash out. People laugh at you. You want to punish them for laughing at you. To get the person you desire the most. And to be hungry for them all the time. In fact, I remember I wrote down my favorite quote from Charlie X. Hold on, I'm coughing again. Coughing again. Sorry, still recovering from sickness. Okay. Where Charlie says to the yeoman, when he is kind of professing his love to her, he says, if I had the whole universe, I'd give it to you. I see you like I'm hungry. All over. Hungry. Do you know how that feels? That captures the exact emotion and the passion you often feel for someone when you're a teenage girl or teenage boy. When you have your first crush, it feels like that, where you're hungry all over. And it was just powerful lines were in this one. And also, with this one, I was told, when I was talking to my coworker at work about how being my first, story I ever saw of Star Trek as a child of the original series, and he said, "Oh, that's a strange story that's for a kid to start out watching of the original series. Must have been weird for you." And I was like, honestly, with all the Disney movies that were coming out at the time when I was a kid, between Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Alice in Wonderland, Secret of NIMH, not Disney, but still Secret of NIMH, and Dumbo, and Bambi, and Lion King, and The Lamb Before Time, honestly, oh yeah, and The Fox and the Hound, with all of the cartoon movies that were coming out when my generation were children, and how they completely scarred us as children, nothing much could frighten us as children anymore. Literally. I mean, the animated movies that were coming out when I was a kid were so emotionally scarring and devastating that Charlie X kind of pales into comparison. But with this story also, it being the first story I saw of the original Star Trek, I was watching it, and one of my favorite moments was Uhura, when Spock was tuning his instrument, and Uhura starts singing along with it, and then he looks a little aggravated, and she said, "I'm sorry, I'm doing it again, aren't I?" Sorry. Then Spock smiles, turns and starts playing and allows her to sing along, and she creates a song about him. Then she creates a song about Charlie. And Charlie wants attention from the yeoman at the time, so he does something to cause Uhura's vocal cords to freeze up, and she can't sing anymore, and then Charlie begins to do these card tricks to impress the yeoman. That was an incredible sequence to me. It did everything it needed to do. It showed the relationship between Spock and Uhura. Well, at the same time, it augmented, and it was able to segue completely into Charlie's insecurity and desire and craving for attention and for the love of the yeoman. It was a good segment. It really was. However, when I was a kid, I watched Uhura and I watched Spock. And I noticed how only with Uhura, same thing with the first episode I reviewed, The Man Trap, only with Uhura did Spock show some genuine emotion to. I couldn't help, as a kid, notice, because I didn't know the original series. I just knew this one episode. And I turned to my mom and I said, "Mom, do they like each other?" Because, again, I did not know the original show. All I just had was this one segment, and all I saw was Spock having chemistry with Uhura in ways I didn't see him have chemistry with anyone else on the Enterprise. I was like, Mom, does Spock and Uhura, do they like each other? And Mom gave me the difficult answer of saying, well, Spock doesn't really have any emotions, but there is something about them that do connect sometimes. Of course, I find out later that was not to be the case at all, where there was nothing romantic going on there, or nothing, at least, potent in their feelings towards each other going on there. But then I heard later on that there was once upon a time a plan in the original series to have Spock and Uhura have the first interracial kiss on the show. But that was scrapped. That plan was scrapped. I want to know, is that true or is that a fake rumor? Does anybody know? Let me know in the comment section if that's true or not. That originally Spock and Uhura were planned to have the first interracial kiss. But again, let me know. I could be totally wrong. Well, that's not my fault. It's a rumor, I was told. Let me know if that's a false rumor. Also, this is the first of many beautiful episodes where we see Captain Kirk with his shirt off. And there will never be any complaints from me. And again, those people who are politically correct in this channel, who will come seeing my channel, leave your political correctness at the door. I love watching a beautiful man acting while looking sexy, even and again with his shirt off. What can I say? I'm that kind of girl. And Captain Kirk, William Shatner, that man does it for me. He is, and again, I love William Shatner as Captain Kirk. And some people criticize his performance. I disagree. I overall love him as Captain Kirk. I'll get into that later. So, sorry. Yeah, still sick after all this. So that concludes my Charlie X video. Have you guys seen Charlie X? Have you not? If you have seen it, what were your thoughts about it? Whatever it is, comment below and let me know. I'd be very interested to hear what you have to say about it. And I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye, guys.